Roblox is out now for the Quest platform, and my first experience with it was not a positive one. I haphazardly jumped into 20 plus games and had an almost universally bad experience in all of them. Terrible UI, abysmal performance, and generally an experience that didn't feel like it belongs in VR is what I encountered. But perhaps I missed the point. I went in looking for a good VR game, because that's ultimately what my Quest is for. Good VR games. But right now Roblox isn't trying to be a good VR game. It's a free platform with potentially millions of free games and experiences. Playing them in VR is a secondary bonus. Surely something like this coming to the Quest is a good thing, right? Or at least a good thing for a very specific audience. An audience who aren't looking for high quality VR interactions and immersive experiences. An audience who just want to hop from game to game with their friends without having to spend money on each new one. For kids, this is the holy grail. One download gets them racing games, simulators, shooters, roleplay, tower defense, horror, hangouts, and so much more. The quality of those experiences isn't really a concern to them. I doubt they'll even think about it like I do. After my video, people told me I played the wrong games. Other creators have thrown around statements like, "Those who don't like it just don't understand," and others simply agreed with my initial reaction. The mixed response prompted me to dive back in and really experience as many games as I could stomach to find some diamonds in the rough. This week I've played over 100 Roblox games on the Quest 2, and these 10 have shown me that there is fun to be had here, and with the right developers we could get some pretty fun VR experiences built in here for the Quest platform. First up is Timber, a simple little game about chopping down trees and selling the logs that you get for doing so. The money you earn from selling logs can be spent on upgrades like making the trees spawn faster or increasing your chopping speed. Or you can use the money to expand the island you're on to discover new areas with more trees and perhaps exciting objects or unique items. It reminds me a lot of Raft, but instead of the stressful survival, it's all about chilled out chopping and selling logs. This open world Graffiti Simulator is the first game I've played in Roblox where I fully understand the community element. Hanging out in here and spray painting pictures with other players is great fun. It had a gorilla tag vibe, but without the monkeys or screaming high-pitched voice chat. There was also no obscene drawings anywhere, and a system to kick people who draw inappropriate things was in place, which was genuinely good to see. My only issue with this one was I couldn't seem to change my paint colour. It kept reverting back to blue. This is a Roblox version of the manic multiplayer cooking game Overcooked. You run your own kitchens across a variety of bizarre locations where you need to prep and cook the ingredients to fulfill orders that are coming in thick and fast. It plays exactly like Overcooked. Picking your ingredients, chopping them, mixing them, cooking them and plating them up all feels incredibly familiar, and this Roblox version can even be played in multiplayer for that authentic Overcooked experience. If you've ever played the Katamari games, then this one should look familiar to you. You start with a tiny little black hole, and as you run around sucking up objects in the environment, the black hole grows bigger until you can eventually suck in other players with black holes smaller than yours. There's a chaotic king of the hill element to this one whereby you capture and hold objectives, but you also need to keep moving to ensure you aren't sucked up by someone else's bigger, more powerful black hole. Sometimes the simplest games are the best. This is Defense Island, a wave defense game that plays a bit like Plants vs Zombies. You spend money to place defensive weapons between increasingly difficult waves of enemy zombies. Or orcs, I'm not really sure what these creatures are supposed to be. They're green, they look a bit like zombies, and you have to fend them off before they make their way across the island and into your base. It's a simple concept, but it kept me playing for a decent chunk of time. This game probably has the most potential out of everything I've played, but it also struggles the most with performance. In VR hands, VR players play as giants who can grab and interact with everything in the environment. This includes the non-VR players, who play as normal-sized characters running around the world. The objective here is to work with the non-VR players to help them make their way through the obstacle courses, but it devolves into chaos pretty quickly. Someone said hello to me, and I sent them into the sun on a rocket ship. I was expecting a simple version of red light, green light, but what I got was actually a full version of Squid Game, complete with all the horrific challenges the show contains. This is an incredibly accurate recreation of the hit Netflix show, where you need to survive the challenges and outlive all other players to win the prize pool of cash. I'm always surprised when I see just how popular the video game versions of this show are with kids, considering how brutal and adult Squid Game really is. Nonetheless, trying to survive the games in VR is a lot of fun, and the attention to detail is pretty damn impressive. This is the best VR-centric game I've played so far, Opposer VR. It's a deathmatch multiplayer first-person shooter with tons of maps, loads of guns, manual reloads, and a pick-up-and-play vibe. The level I played here reminded me a lot of Doom. Tight corridors and an old-school visual aesthetic really helped me get into this one. It's just a massive shame that it doesn't currently seem to support smooth turn. I tried everything to get it working, but could only turn in increments. There is a chance I enjoyed this one more than most others because I was absolutely destroying these kids. Okay, there's clearly a reason why Rainbow Friends is so damn popular. This is the Roblox version of Slender Man meets Five Nights at Freddy's. A team of players load into an abandoned theme park and need to complete objectives to survive the night and escape. However, there's also a bunch of creepy monsters in this theme park, and they want to capture and murder you, so you need to move fast and plan your routes through the park. It's a simple concept, but it works really well, and the story is layered in such a way that there are multiple objectives to accomplish. I understand why kids love this one, it's genuinely good fun. But coming in at number 1, the best Roblox game I've played so far, this is Boat Ride into a Better Life, a game about kayaking through increasingly difficult and challenging obstacle courses that allows VR players to use their touch controllers to push the oar through the water. It's like a low-budget version of Kayak VR meets Getting Over It, and it can be fairly challenging the further you get. These are the kinds of games I want to find more of. Difficult little obstacle courses with unique movement mechanics. It just works really well and performs great too, despite the size of the level you're moving through. This is easily my favourite Roblox game to date, and the one I've spent the most time playing. Roblox on the Quest is janky at best and broken at worst if you go in looking for good VR games in its current state. Most of these games aren't good VR experiences. However, the appeal of an almost endless pool of free content to sift through to a child of a specific age is undeniable. Roblox might not be for me, but for those who are growing up and learning about video games, it's a Lego box of endless potential that has a decent amount of gems to be found hidden amongst the throwaway low quality experiences. It might not be great on Quest 2 right now, but if the audience is there and the desire to build VR centric experiences there, then we should have some pretty cool content to play in the near future.